Today I wanted to talk about the white spaces of Kenya, or the European spaces of Kenya. Now, as you very well know, in any third world country, normally the most prestigious places in society, and by place I both mean both physically and psychologically and culturally. So all the prestigious places in third world countries like Kenya are normally reserved for Europeans or for white people. And what I mean is this. I mean, the most prestigious thing in any category is what is considered to be European or Western or white. So today I wanted to talk about food and how food has become a white space or a Western space or a European space in terms of prestige. Now, when you go to many hotels in Kenya, I would say even most hotels in Kenya, when you wake up in the morning and when you go to have breakfast, they usually have a menu, and on that menu they will tell you something called continental breakfast. By continental breakfast, they mean the European continent breakfast, and this strikes me as being very bizarre. It doesn't shock me because Kenya is a typical slave society, but after 60 years, even of flag independence, you'd think some things would be, outdated. But this never gets outdated. So when you ask the hotel people, what is this continental breakfast? They give you a menu, a list of Western foods or European foods, which are supposed to be the most prestigious in that hotel. And in fact, they don't give you any other quote-unquote African choices. And this bothers me because they'll tell you that the bread is French. They will call it French toast. They will talk about English muffins. They'll talk about American scrambled eggs. Every single thing is given a European or a Western name to indicate that it's prestigious. So if you ask them for what you may like an ordinary, Kenyan breakfast, they will immediately tell you that they don't have any such thing, that they don't sell such things at the hotel. If you go to any golf club in Kenya and you ask them for any Kenyan foods, they will immediately tell you that they don't sell Kenyan foods, that kind of food doesn't quite make it into the caliber of their clientele. And when you insist to tell them, but I'm Kenyan and all I want is ugali. Yeah, give me ugali and skuma and beef stew. They'll tell you they don't sell such things. The only thing they sell is what the British showed them: fish and chips. Literally, that's it. And this is after all these years of independence. Now, such things bother me because I'm like, why can't I have my choice of meal in any hotel that I go to? But until you realize that all these places are Western spaces, these are white spaces where Africanness is not welcome. So you can't go into a hotel, certain hotels, and request ugali because that is considered to be a non-prestigious food, but because that is a typical African food. And so we cannot even get our foods in our own hotels. Can't. What if you want cassava for breakfast? You're told we don't sell such things here, with a lot of contempt. And this is an African telling you. So it's Africans practicing food discrimination against their own African foods. And so by doing so, we are not able to develop our own cuisine because we regard it as trash. And so the very unhealthy foods coming from the West are given maximum prestige, maximum visibility. And I think that is just shameful. After all these years, we should be able to develop our own cuisine because you can make a lot of money from food, even globally, even just exporting your food. If you can export your food culture, you can make money off that food. But if you're importing your food culture, it means you're losing money because someone else is exporting their food to you. You understand? So you go to these places, they want to offer you bacon. They want to offer you all these greasy, unhealthy, heart attack foods. And as you very well know, amongst the middle and upper classes of Kenyans, they're getting more and more quote-unquote lifestyle diseases. And by lifestyle disease, they mean Western lifestyle diseases. They refuse to add that part that says Western or white lifestyle diseases, because you're not supposed to associate anything from the West with anything bad. It's all supposed to be good all the time. But if they were to call it properly Western lifestyle disease, people would know that the more you pretend to be a Mzungu, the more likely it will kill you sooner than you need to go. And so I went to this golf course, and for a long time it kept on bothering me, because I would look at their menu, and I'm telling you, it was as foreign as you can imagine, as foreign. And I asked the waiter, why? He told me those are the instructions they're given by management, and they have all these British rules, and that they're very proud to follow. And so you see, many times in Kenya, you cannot find a lot of innovation in any sector. Even in the food sector, you cannot find any innovation. Why? Because the food market is captured by the West. Who has captured it? The Africans themselves. It is the Kenyans who will never promote Kenyan food because they're embarrassed by it. And I think this is unfortunate, and it's one of the perils of being a third world country, so that entire sectors of the economy do not function the way they're supposed to function in any mature country. Because you go to all these other mature countries, the food sector is a massive, especially the processed food sector, is a massive sector, and it generates a lot of employment and wealth, because it's based upon local foods that are consumed locally and produced locally. And what many people don't realize is the extent to which Kenya imports foods, manufactured foods. You'd be shocked. A huge sector, a huge part of the food industry relies on imports, because the people are trained. Kenyans are trained to despise their own foods that are locally produced. How many times have you had like cassava for breakfast, for example? Just an example. Or, I don't know, yams for breakfast. Traditional foods that are locally produced, as opposed to things like cornflakes, which are actually not very healthy. In fact, when you look at the chemicals that they put in those foods, you're not supposed to be, giving it to your children. But you can imagine, so all these foods are imported to the cost and the detriment of local production. And so our interest in this sector is, again, money. It's always about money. We are not talking from a position of, necessarily cultural assertiveness for the sake of it. It's about the economic impact of consuming what is foreign, and the psychological impact of promoting what is foreign to you, at the same time despising what is your own. The self-contempt that Kenyans have. So as long as you have that attitude of self-contempt, you will not create anything for yourself, because you despise yourself. And there's an economic cost to that. And our interest is in the economic cost, because we are concerned about fighting poverty. So how do you fight poverty? You innovate. How do you innovate? You create. How do you create anything when you despise the works of your hands? So how do you come up with a fancy new dish made from yam, which you are able to produce, when you despise the yam because you're the one who produces it? That you want to come up with a new way of serving English muffin. Why would you do that? Do you see where I'm going with this? So it's about expanding the economy. And the way you expand an economy, you have to dominate every sector of the economy. And you're dominating it at the cost of foreign things because there's foreign competition. So you're fighting for economic space. So if the entire food industry is captured by foreign foods, that's a tremendous loss to the economy. So that's our interest in this issue. And I just thought that this is something that people, need to think about. Why are our foods so discriminated against in Kenya? Why is it that if you go to any hotel and you request an African dish, they will laugh you out of there? And they'll tell you, if you don't like it, get out. Why is there food discrimination in Kenya against quote-unquote Kenyan foods? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Kenya's time has come. Our time has come. Your time has come. A time to succeed and not fail. A time to grow wealth and not poverty. A time to go up and not down. It's time for you to stop walking and drive your car. Stop renting and buy yourself a house. It's your time to get blessed. Join the CCV movement and together let us kick poverty and unemployment out of Kenya. Become a member today. Donate what you can. And remember that the CCV is the only political organization in Kenya that is squarely built upon Christian values, unlike the rest. We'll see you next time. Thank you.